he believed bears were misunderstood. He believed love could replace fear. For 13 summers, he lived among the deadliest animals on Earth. Timothy Treadwell was not a scientist. He was not a ranger. He was a man searching for meaning, and in the wilderness of Alaska, he found it living side by side with grizzly bears. In the early 1990s, he traded his old life for the vast, unforgiving landscapes of the North. He set up camp alone, miles from any human settlement, driven by a self-proclaimed mission to protect these magnificent animals. His first encounters were from a distance, filled with awe and a sense of destiny. He saw not a predator, but a kindred spirit in the wild. He felt the bears needed a guardian, someone who would live among them and ward off poachers. But this mission was born from his own needs, a desire for purpose that the human world couldn't provide. He started filming his life, creating a diary of his time in what he called the Grizzly Maze. He saw himself as a bridge between two worlds. The Alaskan wilderness became his sanctuary, and the grizzlies, he believed, became his family. He wasn't trained in animal behavior, and his approach was based entirely on emotion and intuition. He felt that if he showed the bears love and respect, they would return it. For a time, it seemed like he was right. Against all rules, Timothy lived without protection. No guns, no barriers. He believed the bears accepted him as one of their own. He spent his days following them, observing them, and talking to his camera, narrating his incredible life. He gave the bears names, like Mr. Chocolate and Aunt Melissa. He would speak to them in a soft, gentle voice, trying to soothe them, to communicate his peaceful intentions. He'd get dangerously close, sometimes just a few feet away, reaching out his hand as if to a pet. To him, this wasn't recklessness, it was connection. He saw the bears not as wild animals, but as individuals with personalities, feelings, and emotions. He would sing to them, tell them his secrets, and even cry in front of them. His footage shows moments of unbelievable proximity, where massive grizzlies walked past him with seeming indifference. He interpreted this as acceptance. He truly believed he had broken a barrier that had separated humans and bears for millennia. But this closeness was a violation of the most basic rule of the wild: keep your distance. He was living in a beautiful but fragile fantasy. The line between observer and participant had completely disappeared, and he was now a character in a story he was writing for himself, a story that was heading towards an inevitable conclusion. Wildlife experts warned him again and again, grizzlies do not recognize friendship. They recognize instinct. Park rangers pleaded with him to carry bear spray, or at least an electric fence, but Timothy refused. He saw these precautions as a sign of distrust, a betrayal of the bond he believed he had built. In simulated interviews, experts explained that his behavior wasn't just dangerous for him, it was harmful to the bears. By getting them accustomed to human presence, he was erasing their natural fear, a fear that keeps them safe from poachers and other human threats. He was, in effect, signing their death warrant. The warnings grew more urgent as his fame grew. He became a minor celebrity, appearing on television to share his story. But the more he was told he was wrong, the more he dug in. He began to see anyone who questioned him as an enemy of the bears. His videos from the later years show a change in tone. The calm, gentle man was sometimes replaced by a paranoid, angry one. The bears themselves seemed to be changing. His own footage captures moments of tension bears growling, swatting at the air, or standing on their hind legs in a show of dominance. In one chilling clip, he's heard yelling at a bear to back away, his voice filled with a fear he rarely admitted. He was tempting fate, pushing the boundaries of an unwritten contract with the wild. In October 2003, Timothy stayed longer than usual. The salmon runs had ended and food was scarce. The older, dominant bears he was familiar with had moved on to their dens, leaving younger, more aggressive males to roam the territory. The weather turned, bringing with it the cold, hard reality of an Alaskan winter. The bears were hungry, desperate. That was the night everything ended. On that final evening, radio contact went silent. A pilot scheduled to pick him and his girlfriend up arrived to find a scene of chilling emptiness. The campsite was destroyed, torn apart with a violence that spoke for itself. Rangers who flew in to investigate discovered a tragedy. Timothy Treadwell, the man who called bears his friends, had been killed by one. The audio from his camera captured the final moments, a recording so horrifying that those who heard it were forever changed. He had lived by his belief, and he had died by it. Timothy Treadwell died believing he was part of the wild. But nature does not bend to belief. It operates on ancient, unchangeable laws of survival. His story is not about hatred or a failure of love. It is about respect, deep and profound respect for the boundaries between our world and theirs. Because wild animals do not belong to us. They are not our friends or our family. They are and must always be wild. Thanks for watching. Subscribe for more real stories from the edge of nature.